Hi there, I'm Java Jim with First Line Equipment. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day today, being caffeinated with caffeine from your espresso, cappuccino, or latte. What we're going to go over today is the VBM, so VBM. Watch how strong I am. Okay, VBM espresso machine. It's their dual boiler that has programmable pump pressure and also a flow control device to do pressure profiling. And we're calling this machine the dual profiler. And why is that? The reason is the machines that are programmable, sometimes if you program your profile, and this machine can do up to 9 profiles from last I checked, and within each profile of the 9 you could do, I believe, 7 changes in pressure, pump pressure. But if your grind is a little off, sometimes you can't recover it because you can't change one of those profiles midstream while it's going on. There is a manual function where you can go manually up and down at the brew pressure, or the pump pressure, I'm sorry. But say you're in one of the program modes and you see the pour coming out a little too fast. What the flow control device is bring it downwards, okay? And that's actually going this way to bring the pressure down at the group head, because the flow may be a little too fast based on the grind. So the dual profiler really allows you to program the profiles and then also save the shot if need be. It also allows the barista, if you want to go to the maximum bar pressure on the machine, to just only use the flow control device. So you can use it that way. And then you start thinking, and there's some deficits that are on other machines where, the significant other or in the office environment, multiple users, or in a small catering or commercial environment, you want to have repeatability, reproducibility of the same exact shots. And that's where you have the profiles that are saved, because from barista A to barista B to C, you have the profiles to save those profiles, the ability to save the profiles, and then you can save it as well with the flow control device. So it's a dual profiler. That's really what it comes down to. And the machine cannot save what you do on the flow control device or on the brew pressure profiling here. It cannot save that, but it at least lets you save the shot. And that's what's really important. So we have this machine here. We're going to show you how to start it up. And if you watch my other video, what to look for on the machines before you start it up. The panels typically will come in this bubble wrap behind the machine in the back of behind the machine in the box. You'll see a white film most of the time. Not so much maybe the colored panels, but the stainless steel. Don't remove this off until you get this machine working, up and running, and then take it off. Just in case there was some internal damage from excessive inertial forces by the common carriers. I won't say who they are. Part of my cough. A lot of allergies going on right now. But basically you take these two holders right here, and there's guides on the machine. There's also magnets to hold it in place and keep it there. So you may see it on this side a little bit, but keep them on until you're, make sure you got everything working. The reason I say that is because the common carriers, they like to make excuses and also save the packaging, because they like to make excuses that you used the machine and you damaged it. So, or they say it left damage, but we test every machine, so we double check everything. So to get started, you're going to take the lid off the top. There is a little vent hole there, and there's actually 2 of them right there. You'll take that off. I like to fill the reservoir. It is small. Again, I said like in my other video, small reservoirs means more refilling, but it also means more turnover. Also, you're going to be seeing it more, so you don't get the mold, the fungal buildup, the slime that happens on the bigger water tanks. So it is a little bit on the small side, but it is functional. The machine is plumbable, not drainable, okay, just to go over that. So instead of going to the sink, I got a pitcher ready. Hopefully you like the color of this pitcher. And we'll pour that in. And basically there's a low water level sensor built in the machine. There is no magnetic float, okay, that can get stuck. But there is a sensor that monitors the water, and it's actually down underneath in here. That's where the sensor is. If you notice how I put in, if I put this in the wrong way, it ain't going down, okay? So if you look here, it's going down this way, and we'll put that in, put that in there, put the cover back on. Power switch is on this side. We'll turn that on. And the menu is going to go through a cycle here, checking parts of the machine. Right now, hopefully, you can hear the pump. This is different than a vibration pump, and it's different than a rotary vane pump. It's actually a gear-driven rotary type pump that is pumping the water. Now, there have been some previous manufacturers or actually manufacturers, other manufacturers who previously used this pump, and there were issues with it. I'll be clear, there were issues with some of those machines. So far, carrying this machine since 2020, before the dual profiler, we have yet to replace one pump on VBM-A, knock on wood. Reason is because VBM or VBM-A builds a very, very good product, a very, very good espresso machine. They look at basically using commercial grade or commercial quality and commercial style components. And that is really important to us at First Line Equipment. So the machine filled up. Now it's going to go through a heating cycle, and basically there'll be a warm-up period right here. If you notice, I like to warm up the portafilter because this has to be hot when you're making espresso. I had a customer recently who called up and said, I am making terrible, terrible espresso. I'm like, okay, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm letting the machine warm up for 20 minutes. Well, just let you know, the longer the warm up, the better the espresso. Now, there are dual boiler machines out there that probably heat up in 20, 25 minutes. European versions are actually twice as fast. That's why we always ask to test the machine at 110 volt, not the 220, because there's performance differences. But so I went over with him, and basically we went over a whole bunch of things. I said, are you warming up the portafilter on the machine, or it's off? He goes, no, it's off. I said, so you're grinding the espresso ground coffee into the cold portafilter? Yes. I said, well, that's number one. Number two, and this gentleman's telling me he's like 35 years of experience making espresso. I was like, whoa. So number two is he should warm up the machine longer. Again, manufacturers, the machine may show ready, but really one of the secrets about commercial machines in a commercial environment is they're properly warmed up. They're not rushing. They'll show up in a cafe or whatever. A coffee truck will start at least an hour before to get to real full warm-up mode. So we'll put that on here. We have our multi-directional steam wand, and I'll try to take that off, but there's actually a different style protector. Some people like the no burn or the cool touch wands. There may be trademarks, I don't know his name, so they belong to the trademark owners. But the problem is that when you have that poly tube that goes on the inside, it stays clean. I like that, but it cuts the diameter of the pipe by 50%. So your throughput is 50% less, which means they can cheat a little bit on going to a smaller size boiler because it won't run out as fast. Because if you take out the poly tube and run the steam, it will run out much faster. So it kind of gives the manufacturer a little bit of advantage to have that. And I don't know if they started putting it in here. I'm going to have to double check. I don't double check everything before the video. My videos are not with any type of cue cards. This is basically on the fly. So just to make you aware of that, we have our hot water wand. Now, one of the important things on most dual boiler espresso machines is you never want to take out more than 4 ounces of hot water from the water wand because the water level can drop faster. It's steam pressure that pushes the water. The steam at the top of the boiler and there's water at the bottom, pushes it out faster through a bottom pipe and comes up and out through the hot water wand. Well, if that water level drops faster than the pump can fill, and it's usually in most cases, okay, you don't have a 5-liter boiler in here, it's much, much smaller. Basically, it could be 1.0 to 1.5. It's typically the largest, and maybe even 1.6 in certain machines, not necessarily this one. But the water level drop and that heating element can get damaged. So I normally tell customers no more than 4 ounces out of any of these machines. But what you want to do is actually take out 4 ounces of water once a week. Okay, a little tidbit, little secret, not just for our customers, anybody viewing. And why? Because lime scale can build up at the bottom of the boiler. Okay, even on a stainless steel boiler, I've seen other machines with stainless steel boilers, all the lime scale, magnesium and calcium accumulate at the bottom and clog the pipe, and then customers say the hot water wand doesn't work. Then you got to descale it, and then it works. 99.9% of the cases. So that is why you want to take 4 ounces, because you want to flush that water out. Plus, you may have some milk siphoning back from the steam wand, and you want to flush that water out. So if you're getting brown water, it's usually milk. If you're getting, say, green, it might be water's too pure. But at that point, you want to flush it out. The last thing is we don't really want to descale as much. Over 20 years ago, we probably were one of the largest resellers of descaling solution. And, and then we learned that the machine, the gaskets would wear faster, the metals would start getting, I don't say disintegrated, but it would start pulling some of the metals off, and the machines wouldn't last as long, and the boiler in structural integrity would actually be harmed in that way. So right now, this postnasal drip and coughing and allergies is driving me nuts. It is in the fall and it's really kicking in. But right now we can hear the machine heating, and we'll be back shortly because we have to let the machine heat up. Well, we're back after about 30 minutes of warm up. So the portafilter needs to be so hot that you can't keep your hand cradled on this. Okay, so we have coffee loaded. Interesting point. I always disliked lightly roasted espresso coffees. I just don't like the way it tastes. All the coffee came out, so I got to get more. And the grinder's on the side, so I'll be right back. But dry filter basket, what a mess I made, as usual here at First Line. I really didn't like light roasted. And as a matter of fact, today I found a grinder, because this has been a challenge in the past, and I'm not going to reveal it on this video, I'm going to reveal it on another one, where this grinder does actually a better job, I think, with lighter roasted espresso blends. I'm talking like cinnamon roast, even lighter than, say, city roast, and can pull a good shot making espresso. And I didn't calibrate this grinder, just to let you know. So we're going to see how it comes out. And I'm going to tell you if it's too slow or too fast. So, and we're going to use the manual button up here, because we're going to try to increase the pump pressure if it comes out too slow. Again, there's a manual profile mode where you don't have it stored. So today I tried the espresso. I was like, yuck. But when I made it as a cappuccino, I was like, this is delicious. So let me be right back. I'm going to go grind. You're going to hear the grinder, but you ain't going to see it, because this thing is really fast. That was probably about 5 seconds for a double. And if you notice, I like to fill the basket. So I'm going to be right back again. Another 1.5 seconds. And I like to tap it like this. Very, very little clumping. And typically with a very light roast, you have to grind super fine. And the reason is because the oils are not at the surface of the bean. And then I like to take my finger, or you could take your scoop handle, push it along. You don't want to be pushing down. You've seen my other videos. This is kind of what I do. And I'll move the excess here. and the excess comes out. So now, you see we have the puck to the rim of the basket. And I will grab a tamper, and this one has graduated markings, put it here, and when I tamp down, pretty much as hard as I can, where the rim, okay, I'll move that over, the rim of the tamper meets all around the rim of the basket. Now, why is that important? It's important because, okay, you want that level of coffee to be even. You don't want to tamp this way or this way. If you tamp this way, all the water's coming down this side, and you're going to over extract on this side and under extract on the other side. So it's really important to look at the level. Let's lock this in. I'll go get a glass. Actually, let me get this one here so you could probably see the pour, and we'll see how this comes out. Now, this glass is cold. So if, remember before, the customer said, oh, I'm getting terrible espresso. He wasn't even preheating the cups, and he was measuring temperature at about 140 degrees. I'll take a little water out of there. Remember, 4 ounces. Okay, I just cleaned the machine and it's brand new. It's 4 ounces, roughly 4 ounces. Let's get that in there. And you heard the pump refill, so we know that's working. And I have the flow control device on full open. And basically what I'm going to do is lift up the lever. We're good there, 194. And it's showing the profile here. And actually it's on profile 1. I thought it was on manual, so it was on profile 1. And right now we're actually pumping at 14 bars. So if I want to bring it down on the brew pressure here, I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to get down to about 6 bar, 4 bar, and then I'll stop the shot. And look at that. So when you grind too fine, you also sometimes need higher pump pressure. And I asked another manufacturer to get up to 14 bar. I won't say who they are. And they kind of declined. I worked with VBM and said, can we get up to 14 bar of pressure? And somebody, I would say, not in the industry, but they own a website, and I was talking to them, and they're like, what do you need 14 bar for? Well, if you're grinding super fine and you have 14 bar of pressure, you may get a better taste. So I'm going to try this and compare it to a machine that I made this light roast espresso at basically 8 to 9 bar. So let me try this, see how this tastes. Wow. I'm not going to say I like the taste, but the nuances are more refined in the acidity of this espresso. Okay, and this light roasted coffee, if I remember correctly, it was an Indonesian coffee that was lightly roasted to about, I think it was about 380 degrees, which is a pretty light roast. This I can actually drink as a straight espresso. The one I had this morning, I was like, no way would I drink this espresso. As a cappuccino, it came out great. But this one is drinkable. So I'm actually pretty impressed. And this kind of leads to my belief that, you know, when I came out with this idea for brew pressure profiling, I call it brew pressure, that's also known as flow control. When I came out with this idea in December 2015 and gave it to another manufacturer, I was criticized that it's a fad. Well, look how many machines have it now. A lot of copycats. The one for the VBM is different than the other ones. So if you have a VBM at home, there is a special VBM kit to make this profiling happen at the brew pressure. And we call it here brew pressure, and it's really brew pressure control versus pump pressure. And again, the dual profiling allows you to do both. Because I was at 14 and I said, man, I can't change the profile. Remember I said in the beginning, you can't change it up here. You only change it if it's in manual profile. But I was able to bring it down with the flow control device because I didn't want to go to full 14 bar. And it's actually drinkable, and good aftertaste actually. So this is the capabilities, and you kind of seen it here first on a dual profiler machine at a very, very reasonable price. We're not looking at $9,000-$10,000 or $8,000. It's much lower. So the capabilities are here. And at the end of the day, after doing this for over 25 years, is to make sure that we have the equipment that's going to bring this to the next level for making a better espresso. And especially now that we're probably going to have a grinder that's going to grind super fine for espresso. I mean, it's almost like, can be like powder, and allow you to experiment to get better espresso shots and then repeat them. So this is why I think the dual profiler will be a great machine for you, because now it is Java Gym approved. And take a look on our website. You can learn more about it. There'll be other videos that we're going to make on steaming milk, plumbing it in, and also going over the menu, because this machine is pretty feature rich on the menu side. And then we need to show you how to go manual, because I thought it was a manual, but it wasn't. But I still saved a shop because I had the flow control device. Once again, Java Gym with First Line Equipment. Follow us on our different social media channels. As I always say, coffee first, everything else second. Now you have a great day being caffeinated.